Hi everybody, it is Barb at Treats on a Leash, and I'm going to try take 2 of a raw food video. Last night I tried one at home thinking it might be a little easier than trying to get it done at the store, and bless her heart, Willow just kind of stole the scene, so I'm going to try again. So today I want to talk to you about raw foods and what a raw food diet is. I think there's a lot of mystery and a lot of misinformation about raw food diets, and so I wanted to take some time and explain that. I'm going to contrast the raw food diet to the poor kibble that we talked about before, with the high carb content, the mystery ingredients that we don't know what they are, and just the high carb levels. So a raw diet refers to an unprocessed diet that consists of muscle meat, bones, organ meat, and you can find raw food in a variety of forms. We carry 2 lines in the store. One is Stella and Chewy's, and the other is Primal. Both of these come in freeze-dried, and they also come in a frozen form. We carry a 3rd line called Northwest Naturals, and we have that in a frozen chub. So first of all, to talk about raw foods. Raw foods differ from kibble in that they don't go through the high heat process that a kibble does. Raw foods go through a sterilization process to kill bacteria, but they don't go through that high heat process kibble does, which means they retain most of their nutrients. So where kibbles lose a lot of their nutrient content through the baking process, the raw retains it. So that is one huge benefit of raw. Another benefit of raw is that it has probiotics in it, and it also going to have digestive enzymes, and it's very easy for our pets to digest it, easily digestible. A raw food diet also has almost 0 carbs. The 2 products that we have, the Primal and the Stella and Chewy's, are going to range from like 5 to 7% carb. That is a huge difference compared to that 50% carb kibble that we talked about the other day. So what does raw food look like? Well, this is the freeze-dried form, and this one is a Stella and Chewy chicken patty. You can feed this by either feeding it alone, or you can use it as a topper on top of your kibble. It crumbles up very easily. When we feed the freeze-dried, we like to hydrate it somewhat with some warm water just to give that extra moisture to the diet. This is what a frozen patty looks like. And our Willow weighs 40 pounds, and this is what Willow eats in one day. She gets half of one of these patties for each of her meals. When you feed a raw diet, because it is so nutrient dense, you feed less. You're also going to pick up less in the backyard because they're going to get more out of it. They're not going to have as much product to push through. But this is what Willow eats in one day. So when you, like I said, when you go with a high quality diet like a raw, you really do feed less. So how do raw diets rate on the scale? Honestly, raw diets are one of the top tier diets you can do. When I'm referring to raw, I'm referring to the commercial products that we have. I do know 2 people who make their own raw food at home who do it correctly. Doing a raw diet at home requires a lot of research to know how much of what goes into your dog's food, the ratios. It also involves grinding bone for calcium. So to do it correctly takes a lot of research, a lot of time, and the average person, it doesn't spend that much time cooking for themselves. So it's really a unique individual who's willing to put that time and effort into making their own raw food, which is why we suggest the commercial, because it is truly going to be a balanced diet. These raw foods that I showed you, they have ground organ, ground bone in there, so they are definitely complete and balanced. One great thing too about raw, when we talk about animals in the wild, when our dogs and our cats in the wild, their ancestors were chasing prey, they were eating a nutrient dense diet, which is what raw is, and they were eating a moisture rich diet, which especially the frozen is going to be a very moisture dense diet. So it's a great way to get moisture in your diet without having to add something additional. When we give Willow the either of these, we still add a little bit of warm water, but you certainly don't have to with the frozen. You can feed as is. Pros and cons of each. The freeze-dried is going to be more convenient. You simply just pull out the amount your dog needs and crumble it up over kibble or feed alone. The frozen, we take about 3 of the patties out at a time for Willow out of the freezer. We just keep them in the fridge in a Pyrex dish, and then about 3 days worth for her if we pull out 3 patties. Safety concerns with a raw diet. For your dog is going to be fine. These have been high pressure sterilized, and that is mainly for the human safety issue. Our dogs and cats have short acidic guts. They can handle any bacteria that might come their way. Think about your dog in the neighborhood and the things they pick up that they probably shouldn't, but they're fine. Their stomachs are used to it. They can digest it for the most part. That safety measure that the pet food companies take is for us. So if you choose to feed a raw diet, or if you choose to use it in addition to a kibble, always wash your hands, wash the bowl after each feeding. We have, I think, several food bowls for Willow, and then we rotate through pasta bowls, cereal bowls, and then we just put them in the dishwasher, and the dishwasher gets run. So you just want to treat these products as you would as if you're handling any raw meat that you would be cooking for yourself. So that is the safety concern. Now, parasites. You're not going to come across parasites in raw food. The reason is the stomach and the intestine are not used to make raw food. They're whole prey diets except for those 2 items. So completely safe. Every batch is tested before these companies send them out. So I think that takes away a lot of the mystery and the worries behind a raw diet. Most dogs truly and cats truly do love it. It just takes them back to their ancestral diet, gets that moisture in, and gets kind of back to that pyramid we talked about, where now our pets have the high carb and then the protein is lower. This reverses it and gets that protein up, gets the moisture up, and gets the carb way down. Now, how does a raw diet relate in price to some of the kibbles? Honestly, raw is going to cost more. If you've done the research and looked at the carb content of the food you're feeding, and you've decided, you know what, I would like to try to reduce the carbs in my pet's food, but I don't know how to do it, how to start. Pick one of these. Pick up, just try a package of the freeze-dried, try a small bag of the raw. Frozen, we have some that comes in nugget forms that are smaller than this. You don't have to buy them this large. It just makes sense for us to get this for Willow. But try substituting some raw for some of the higher carb kibble. Anything you can do to decrease that carb load for your dog or your cat is going to benefit them. You don't have to invest a ton of money to try some raw. And remember, anytime you get a food from us, if your pet won't eat it, you bring it back. You are not stuck with it. The goal of our store is to have happy, healthy pets and to have our pets around for as long as possible. So if your pet won't eat the food, it's not going to benefit you, so bring it back. So don't feel worried about trying one of these. And we do have some samples set out on the table, some freeze-dried samples. So come in and talk to us about feeding a raw diet. Hopefully I haven't missed anything that I wanted to share. There is just so much to talk about when it comes to a raw diet, but I really wanted to demystify it today and make it something that you knew what it looked like, you knew the benefits of using it, and you knew why we were passionate about, of course, doing the best we can for our pets. So stop in and we are happy to answer any questions. Again, if you want to have help figuring out the carb content of your food, even take a snapshot of the guaranteed analysis with your phone, bring it in and we'll look at it together and go over it. One reminder, the video we did the other days, we looked at a bag that had a carb first. Make sure it's got the identified protein first. We had a customer come in yesterday whose food we pulled up online, and it had the identified protein first and then was followed by 5 carbs. So in looking, it was a 50% carb food. So you just want to make sure that the carb content doesn't outweigh the protein content of the food. Those dogs and cats need that protein. We want to make sure they're getting enough protein in their diet. Also, avoid the byproducts. Avoid anything mystery that's not totally identifiable. But let us help you. If you have questions, we're here. Just stop in. We'll talk about raw. We'll talk about guaranteed analysis and carb content. Anything we can do to get your pets happy and healthy. And any single step you can take to get on that road to lower carbs is going to benefit your pet. Next, we're going to dig into allergies on another day. So stay tuned, guys, and I hope that you have an awesome Thursday. Bye-bye.